Missiles are now flying across the Middle East. Explosions have been reported in Israel, Iran, and several Gulf Arab states, marking one of the most dangerous regional escalations in years and raising fears of a wider war that could engulf the region. The latest wave began after joint United States and Israeli strikes targeted multiple sites across Iran, including Tehran and western provinces. Within hours, Iran launched retaliatory missile attacks, striking Israeli territory and targeting U.S. military assets across the Gulf. In northern Israel, sirens sounded as air defense systems intercepted incoming Iranian missiles. A 9-story residential building was damaged by shrapnel from interceptor fire, and at least one person was treated for minor injuries. Israel declared a state of emergency and closed its airspace to civilian traffic, but the confrontation quickly expanded beyond Israel. Blasts were reported in Qatar, Kuwait, the United Arab Emirates and Bahrain, all countries that host significant U.S. military infrastructure. Iran state media confirmed that missile strikes targeted facilities including Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar and the headquarters of the U.S. Navy's 5th Fleet in Bahrain. Qatar's defense ministry said it successfully thwarted several attacks, while the UAE reported one fatality in Abu Dhabi after missile interceptions. Kuwait condemned what it called a violation of its sovereignty and warned it reserves the right to respond under international law. Saudi Arabia strongly condemned the strikes on Gulf states and warned of dire consequences if violations continue. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps declared that U.S. and Israeli military targets in the region had been struck and warned that operations would continue until the enemy is decisively defeated. A senior Iranian official told international media that all American and Israeli assets in the Middle East were now considered legitimate targets. The retaliation followed coordinated U.S.-Israeli strikes across Iran overnight. Explosions were heard across Tehran, including near University Street and the Jamhuri district, with additional strikes reported in western Elam province. Iranian officials say defense facilities and infrastructure were hit, and state media reported that an elementary school in Minab was struck, killing 5 students. U.S. President Donald Trump confirmed Washington's direct involvement, describing the operation as a major combat mission aimed at eliminating what he called imminent threats and preventing Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called the operation necessary to remove what he described as an existential threat. U.S. officials told international media the attacks involved both air and naval assets and had been planned for months, even as negotiations over Iran's nuclear program were ongoing. Analysts say the timing effectively derails diplomatic efforts that had resumed in Geneva. Reports from Washington suggest the strikes may have aimed at weakening Iran's leadership structure, with one target reportedly located near offices associated with Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Iranian authorities say he had been moved to a secure location before the attacks. Communications disruptions were reported across Tehran, with internet connectivity partially cut and cyber attacks hitting Iranian news websites. Iran's National Security Council has advised residents to leave the capital if possible, signaling concerns about further escalation. For countries across South Asia and beyond, including Pakistan, the implications are serious. The Gulf hosts millions of South Asian expatriates, critical energy routes and key trade corridors. Any prolonged confrontation risks disrupting oil supplies, aviation routes and global markets, with U.S. officials signaling that operations may continue for days and Iran vowing a relentless response. The Middle East now stands at a volatile crossroads, one where miscalculation could trigger a far wider regional war.